Well, Jack Smith, your scam is about to end. In the news today, we're going to discuss one of the biggest scams ever in political history. Let's break it down. What's up, everybody? Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political channel, and today we've got some breaking news that we need to talk about involving Jack Smith, the man who really has a boner for Donald Trump, trying to get him put in jail, charged with felonies, and doing everything that he possibly could do to prevent him from running and winning the 2024 election. But now it's all hindsight. Donald Trump has won the election, and this changes everything with the cases that Jack Smith is pushing against Donald Trump, namely the raid of Mar-A-Lago for the secret documents and also the interference lawsuit, where Jack Smith has pressed for jailing Donald Trump for attempting to steal the 2020 election against Joe Biden and also inciting a so-called riot on January 26th of 2020. So let's just jump over and check out the story on Politico, and then we will discuss what this all means and a special word that Jack Smith brings up in this article that gives him a chance to try to go after Donald Trump after his second term has ended. All right, so here we see Special Counsel Jack Smith moves to drop both federal criminal cases against Trump. So he is giving up, knowing that there's just no way he's going to be able to push forward with either one of these bogus cases. And we know they're bogus. We've always known they were bogus. And after the election, with Donald Trump winning, well, that's just the end of it, folks. This is the dead end. So their attempts to rack up all of these felonious charges against Donald Trump have officially failed, but he's not giving up completely. So it says here in court filings on Monday, Smith said he consulted with the Justice Department officials about whether an ongoing prosecution against a person elected president might continue. Officials in the department's Office of Legal Counsel, Smith said, concluded that a long-standing prohibition on prosecuting a sitting president would apply to pending cases against Trump. So here we're going to get to this key word that he mentions that some of you might not know much about. So it goes on to talk about the Mar-A-Lago estate raid. And then he's saying that he wants to be able to resurrect these cases after Donald Trump finishes his second term. And he wants the judge to dismiss the cases without prejudice. So what does that mean, without prejudice? Well, that means that it leaves open the possibility to bring new information and open up the case again in the future. When you dismiss a case with prejudice, that means it's the end. You can never open up that case again. It is dead. So Jack Smith wants U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, I don't know how to pronounce that name. He wants the Judge Tanya, to slap without prejudice on the end so he can try to go after Donald Trump in 2029. So, to describe this, let's read this next paragraph. The Constitution requires dismissal in this context, consistent with the temporary nature of the immunity afforded a sitting president. In other words, he thinks that Trump is only immune while president, and after he's not, well, then they can go after him. But he added, constitutional immunity for sitting presidents does not require that the case be dismissed with prejudice, the term for ending a case once and for all. Okay, so they go on to say, still, with the prospect of reviving either case after Trump's term ends in January 2029 will pose many challenges, from possible problems with the statutes of limitations to the potential for Trump to use his second term in office to further undermine the cases or pardon himself from the alleged crimes. All right, so here they mention Trump's alleged conspiracy to overturn Joe Biden's 2020 victory and to stoke violence on January 6th of 2021. Okay, so two problems with this. Number one, Joe Biden didn't really win fair and square. There's a little matter of 11 million votes for Joe Biden that have long since disappeared. When Barack Obama won, he had about 65 million votes, and Joe Biden had somewhere in the tune of 11 million votes than what Barack Obama had. But strangely, Kamala Harris only had the same amount of votes for her within the range of Barack Obama. So when the election was done, we had 71 million popular votes for Kamala Harris. We had 75 million votes for Donald Trump. Well, in 2020, Joe Biden had 81 million votes. So the numbers kind of shift around there. I don't have the exact number, but worst case scenario, we're talking about 11 million votes that disappeared. Best case scenario, maybe it was 6 million votes. But whatever the case, where did the votes go? Which reminds me, I still have a scathing report coming your way where I'm going to show you some stuff that will blow your mind. For all you people who think that the 2020 election was fair and everything was on the up and up, well, there's hordes of information that can be accessed on the internet. There are reports of widespread strange activities, I'll just call it that, surrounding the number of votes that went for Joe Biden in 2020. And I will get into that in the future. I'm not ready to jump on that just yet. I used to think that Donald Trump just lost that election fair and square. Well, after looking at all this information that I dug up when I went on a very deep dive a couple weeks ago, I was shocked to find out that things weren't really what they were cracked up to be with this fair election that took place in 2020. As a matter of fact, I'll go on to say that the 2020 election results, if counted properly, were strikingly similar in nature to the election results that we just experienced a month ago.
Huh?
Well, not quite a month ago, November the 5th. It hasn't even been a month. It's still fresh. Why would it be that we would find out that these two elections were strikingly similar in nature, but Joe Biden won by, 11 million votes over Donald Trump? Kind of makes you scratch your head. So as far as Jack Smith is concerned, time will tell if he gets this dismissal without prejudice. I don't think it's going to happen. And even if he does get the without prejudice, I don't think it will make a hill of beans difference. Why? It's because all of this is being done to cover up something else that was very, we'll call it heinous. Now, I had mentioned in a community tab post that this whole bit about the case against Donald Trump trying to steal the election because he said on a recorded phone call, just find me 11,000 more votes in the state of Georgia. That was enough for them to bring RICO charges and try to slap on some felonies and throw Donald Trump into jail just for mentioning that, find me 11,000 votes. While at the same time, over 500,000 ballot images, in other words, the proof of those ballots that were counted in Fulton County, well, those images disappeared. But Donald Trump was being prosecuted because he said, find me 11,000 votes. Kind of a strange state of affairs going on there. Wouldn't you agree? Well, it's all water under the bridge now because there's not anything that's going to stop the inauguration on January the 21st. I believe it's on the 21st this year. It's going to be going down in less than 60 days from now. And I'm telling you what, it's interesting that all of the rhetoric, which I'm going to cover on another video coming up, all of the accusations and the extreme fear that was being spoken by the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris, where are those fearful statements now? How is it that we went from it's the end of the world as we know it to, okay, we're going to have an inauguration on January the 21st? We'll get into that later, but I will give you a sneak preview. I'm going to tell you this. None of them believed any of the statements that they made as they were making them. They assumed that you people would be dumb enough to believe it and that it would sway the election. Now, I wasn't dumb enough to believe it, and it didn't matter to me because my vote was going to be for Donald Trump in the first place. There was nothing that they could say that would scare me into believing that there wouldn't be any future elections, that we would be sitting under a dictatorship, that the entire world would crumble if Donald Trump was elected. But the most interesting part of this is that the masses believed the statements made by those in the news media and Kamala Harris. They believed it. They took it hook, line, and sinker. But the people making the statements didn't believe it themselves. They were just talking crap. That's right, talking crap. I'll refrain from getting into why they did this and why there is absolute proof that they did not believe any of the statements that they made. We'll save it for the next one. But for now, I would absolutely love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe to the Go Political channel. We're going to get into so much juicy stuff. Oh boy, we got some fun stuff coming your way, and I will be going live very soon. All right. So we'll have more breaking news stories, and let me know if there are some things that you would like me to cover or explain, water down, put in layman's terms. Some of the stories out there that I think would be good to explain, to get an explanation from me, are things like the Russia collusion hoax. A lot of people just don't understand what went on with that. And also with Pam Bondi exposing what went on with then Vice President Joe Biden when his son was put on the board of a company in the Ukraine and making massive amounts of money. Would you like an explanation of that in layman's terms? Let me know in the comments below. And also, would you like to know more about the U.S. money supply, the monetary system, and how the Federal Reserve is a big fat scam that all of us have just decided to not even question and believe that it is real? Let me know. But anyway, that's all I've got for this edition. This is Carlton, and I am out.